for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Been a fun show so far. Lots of Olympic talk, of course, with Sam Farnsworth last hour. And, that's a big event. It's cute.
It's cute.
It's a cute event that they're having over there in Europe.
In Milan.
But the big one. I'm so glad we don't have to say the big game when we're just talking about it. It's so annoying to hear all week long people calling it the big game because it's like there's commercial stuff associated with it and they can't and blah, blah, blah. So
it's just
covering
the game, folks.
I know. Covering Super Bowl 60 for KSL 5 Television and also for us at KSL Sports. He is Jeremiah Jensen on the program with us. JJ, how'd the travels out to Northern California go for you, brother?
Oh, smooth so far, guys. Everything's coming together. And I'm just here to cover Bad Bunny.
Listen, I do expect, I know Milan is a big fashion place, but I'm looking forward to whatever wild outfit Bad Bunny's going to have tomorrow on during that halftime show. And you can't have an artist at halftime without having like a little bit of controversy. That's half of what you have to go by, the formula to win on those ratings. You think about Kendrick Lamar, you knew he was going to say some weird stuff, and he did, and it was phenomenal.
Weird or controversial?
Both. And and so there you go. You got a lot of it going on here, but we've kind of been talking all show, and you and I have talked about it this week. The Super Bowl feels like it lacks some luster here. Are we not giving it enough of its due?
The thing we're getting here is a great matchup, guys. Yeah, the star power, there's not a Tom Brady here. There's not a Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to have the celebrity interest in this Super Bowl. There's not going to be a Taylor Swift here watching her boyfriend play on the field, right? So that's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. But I think, guys, we're getting a better on-field matchup. Remember, last year's game wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I think the Patriots and the Seahawks deserve to be here. They played great throughout the season, the regular season, and they got it done in the playoffs, and it wasn't easy as both teams had different circumstances they had to deal with, especially the Patriots playing in the snow in Denver. That was not an easy way to get here. So they've earned it. They've deserved to be here, and because we have two teams that are so closely match when you look on paper, when you look at the statistics and all the analytics, we should get a great football game on Sunday, which is what we really want, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know me as sports nerds over here. That's exactly what we're looking forward to. So playing on that, what should fans actually be paying attention to? Instead of all the spectacle of who's singing a national anthem or halftime shows or what Super Bowl commercials, as far as the actual game, what's the biggest matchup? What's the biggest thing that people should be paying attention to and wanting out of this? You said that the top tier matchup here, but why is that so exciting as far as X's and O's?
Well, there's so many great storylines. Let's start with Sam Darnold, a quarterback who was drafted by the Jets with a lot of hope and promise and a lot of expectation. And like every quarterback that goes to the Jets, it didn't work.
Right.
And everyone said, you're a bust, you suck, you're no good. And he just went along and found opportunities to stay in the league, took backup spots when a lot of guys drafted number 2 overall can't humble themselves to do that, and finally got the opportunity in Minnesota last year and played great. But they even cast him off, even though he won 14 games.
Right.
For him to come to Seattle this year and do what he's done, to win 14 games again, I think he's one of only 2 or 3 quarterbacks ever that have had back-to-back 14-win seasons as a starting quarterback. It's remarkable. And if Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl this weekend, guys, he joins elite company. So I think if that happens, the way you talk about Sam Darnold changes. On the other side, you got a quarterback in Drake May, who's only in his second year and was in the MVP conversation. And to be a part of this Patriots turnaround, this rebuild that's taken place so quickly now in their 12th Super Bowl, when a lot of people thought the Patriots were going to take a back seat for a long time, has been pretty impressive. So those storylines, along with the actual matchup, there's a lot of interesting stats we can go over that may determine who wins this game. But you start with the quarterbacks, and right there, I think you have some intriguing storylines.
Aside from, the buzz that happens at these games, we kind of convince ourselves that, what the stories are going to be. Obviously, the Sam Darnold story is a big deal. a very, very close MVP race, which I was actually kind of shocked by, that Drake May gave a scare to the possibility of Matt Stafford winning that MVP, but Matt Stafford won it. But we were talking about that, and we were like, yeah, he got second in the MVP voting. But where is Drake May on the list of quarterbacks in the NFL if you were to put together a list of the top ones? Does that mean he's the second best quarterback in the league? It doesn't feel like it.
Probably not the second best quarterback in the league. I think he had the second best season for a quarterback, but to take that next leap, I mean, winning the Super Bowl would be a start, but you're going to have to do that over 2 or 3 seasons, I think. There's still a lot of great quarterbacks in this league. He's got to prove it more than one season that he's better than some of those names and some of those guys. But I think he's top 10, guys. Would you argue he's not top 10? Is he not among the top third of the quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
I guess I agree. Yeah. But because of how quickly the rise has been, it's like we aren't ready to put him on any list yet, because that's just the type of people we are. We like wait for you to do.
Well,
like,
I'm a
show me
Broncos
more.
fan, Alex, and I don't know where I put Bo Nix.
Yeah,
but he just led his team to the conference championship game and a number 1 seed in his second year. So there's some great young quarterbacks in this league, and Drake May's certainly one of them. Is he top 5 yet? I'm not sure I'm ready to go there, but top 10, absolutely.
I don't know if he's top 10. I mean, there's got some time. I think he's teetering top 10, though. But, his second year, what he's been able to do with this team, a lot of people are talking about the schedule and how that benefited them. But, for me, I think this is Super Bowls always come down to the limiting mistakes, right? It's who never knows what mistakes in that first quarter is going to affect you in the fourth quarter. So, in the battle of the mics, how important is coaching going to be in this matchup?
Oh, it's going to be crucial. I think there's going to be a lot of decisions that have to be made in this game because I think it's going to be close. How do they manage their timeouts? How do they manage some of those situations? How many times do they go for it on 4th down in this game?
Right.
A lot of tough decisions are going to have to be made. And with the NFL the way it is now, you see a lot of teams going for it on 4th down. As a Broncos fan, I watched Sean Payton go for it on 4th down, and that was a crucial play in the conference championship game, and it didn't go the Broncos' way. One of the reasons why the Patriots are here. So those calls and those decisions are going to be massive in this game. Which coach has the edge? I think that Vrabel is that rah-rah culture guy in the locker room. McDonald seems more of the analytically gifted guy. I don't know. I guess maybe that'll play out in the Super Bowl. But if you're looking at those type of things, that's kind of how I see those two coaches. But I could be proven wrong in this game. It doesn't mean they can't do both.
Right.
But the culture that Vrabel's established, it feels like he's inspired that Patriots team to overachieve. Whereas I look on paper, and that Seahawks team just needed a system and a way of doing things and some tweaks with talent that allowed them to make a quick rebuild. I think you look at Pete Carroll, and while he had a great run in Seattle, it's pretty obvious with his time in the Raiders that it was probably time to hang it up as a coach. And so you bring in new blood and fresh blood, and you get a quarterback that can win games for you, and you draft a receiver like Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you build a defense like that, you can win games at a high level. So I think on paper the Seahawks are the better team. They have the better skill position players. So coaching will matter. Coaching will have a big role in this game.
Jeremiah Jensen, of course, in California, covering this Super Bowl 60 here. Of all the Super Bowls that you've covered, which was the one that had the most hype going into it?
The most hype? Oh, man. Probably that Patriots-Eagles game. The Patriots at that point, Brady was getting a little bit older, but still considered in his prime. It was Tom Brady and Gronk, and they had won that game against the Seahawks earlier. And I think I'm trying to remember the sequence of years. If that
is that
was,
the Nick Foles? Is that the Nick Foles? Is that the Nick Foles year?
Yeah. I covered the Nick Foles Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the year prior was that crappy. Yeah, the year prior was that crappy Rams game, like 13-3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Patriots were the defending champion, and here was another chance to win another Super Bowl. And you had the Eagles, who had never won one before, but had a lot of good players on that team. Obviously you remember the quarterbacks, the Philly special, the Nick Foles. That's what that game will be remembered for, and the Eagles pulled off the upset and won a Super Bowl for the first time. So there was a lot of hype in that game because of Tom Brady. The last Super Bowl I covered was Rams-Bengals, and it was during COVID. It was weird. The Bengals obviously aren't a team that generates a lot of buzz, but that was a young Joe Burrow and a Bengals team that showed a lot of promise. And anytime LA is involved in anything, it makes a big deal. But I feel like that Patriots game was a big one with the Eagles, with the hype coming in with the Patriots and all the celebrity that was involved with that one. So, this is my fourth. I also covered the one that was also a Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. And Alex, I don't want to go into more detail, but we all know how that ended.
Well, what's funny is that I don't know what I think we have like NFL Films up or something right now because it's
they're
showing
playing that game.
They're playing that game, and it's like, but every time they go in and out of the breaks, they just keep showing the Malcolm Butler play, and I'm like, man. Hey, so the I know. Listen, I get it. When it happened, what was crazy is I still can't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I actually still cannot believe it. And I know a lot of Seattle fans feel that way. But we were going through the list of the Hall of Fame class for this year, and I was trying to figure out if we're okay with this list, how it ended up. And I'll bring it up here for you because and I was telling Sly too, I get a little bit over the guys showing up at the front door, knocking on the front door. Like, when they do it a couple of times, it's great. Now everybody's showing up, knocking on doors. Dan Fouts showed up to Drew Brees' house. I don't think he recognized him, to be honest. He was just like, how you doing? No, deliveries around back. Like, if it wasn't wearing that gold jacket. No, but like, I love that these guys are making, I don't think people are, I don't know. I think it's funny that we limit it so much, but here's the class. Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and the senior finalist was, of course, Roger Craig, who played all those years for the San Francisco 49ers, and he was part of that dynasty. And frankly, when they announced that he got in, I thought, oh, Roger Craig's not already in the Hall of Fame, but that's how it works. What are your thoughts on this year's Hall of Fame class?
I mean, it's a pretty solid class. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald was phenomenal. Sly doesn't have any sympathy, but it's a shame that Larry didn't get a Super Bowl ring. No. It took a phenomenal play by Santonio Holmes to pull that off. That was a great Super Bowl. One of my favorite Super Bowls to watch. But Larry Fitzgerald was an incredible receiver and deserves to be first ballot, as does Drew Brees. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. Right. A Super Bowl champion. I like Roger Craig as a veteran. When I was growing up, the 49ers were the dynasty, and Roger Craig was an important part of that, and he was solid for a long period of time there for more than a decade. So I think he deserves to get in that capacity, obviously not being a first ballot guy, but being able to get in that way. I look at Bill Belichick not being in, guys, and I know that there's only so many guys they can vote in and all that kind of stuff, but how does the greatest coach of all time, how does somebody with 8 Super Bowl rings, with all the wins and everything he did, and you can love him or hate him, I don't care. You have to look at the accomplishments. How is he not in as a first ballot Hall of Fame coach? So that's the glaring omission for me. I didn't see a list of other snubs. I probably need to take a deeper look at that.
Eli Manning comes up a lot. Eli Manning comes up a lot because it was his second year to be able to get there. I think he'll get there, but it's just, that's one that people wonder.
But he had the rings, guys, but do the stats make him a first ballot Hall of Famer? Right. Not even close. So I'm fine with him waiting. I know it's dumb. If you're a Hall of Famer, you are or not. Why do you wait? Well, you need to give these guys their moment, and you can't do 20 guys every year. And there's years where there's going to be more than others. So I understand why they do it the way they do. And I also understand the other side of why people get frustrated, why this guy's clearly a Hall of Famer. Like, I think Steve Smith's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
To localize it.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Steve Smith isn't in yet. Mm-hmm. But why not? Well, he's going to have to wait his turn. But, like, Torrey Holt's not a Hall of Famer.
Okay, that's what I was going to bring up. I've got a list of snubs in front of me. You tell me if these are people. Just tell me if they'll end up making the
go through and I'll
the Hall
yes
of Fame here. So, Frank Gore.
He will make it someday.
I think so, too. L.C. Greenwood, that's one of the senior class people, played for the Steelers for a long time.
Steelers.
It's crazy he's not in yet, to be honest. I remember the commercials when I was a kid.
Right.
Torrey Holt?
He should be a Hall of Famer, but
Eli Manning.
Eventually, yes, but I think he needs to wait.
Terrell Suggs.
Terrell Suggs, one of the best pass rushers and linebackers I remember, part of those Ravens teams. He's a Hall of Famer.
Always playing second fiddle to Ray Lewis on that defense, right?
And I don't know why, because if you ask people around the league, and Sly will tell you, like, that dude was a menace.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the reasons why they were so good. So I think he should get in. Eventually, yes.
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne is still not in. All the catches he made everyone remembers, Marvin Harrison with the Colts and Peyton Manning, but Reggie Wayne put up massive numbers. He should get in eventually. I get why he's not, though.
Kevin Williams.
Eventually.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. You play defensive tackle. He was all pro 4 times.
For the Bills?
Nobody remembers
Minnesota,
or thinks about the
Seattle.
defensive tackles.
I know,
or the interior linemen, right?
especially when you play for Minnesota for 11 years of your career.
Right.
Right. You kind of get lost. Yep.
Jason Witten.
Yeah, I think he's a tight end.
Yeah, I think he'll be there.
Well, he just played for the Cowboys, so that sucks.
Darren Woodson.
I think he's being punished because he didn't win a Super Bowl with the Cowboys. And
For
that
sure.
whole group, Tony Romo, all those Cowboys underachieved. So I think that's why he has to wait.
And then Darren Woodson, also snubbed this year.
Darren Woodson needs to be in, and maybe next year's that year.
Yeah.
Darren Woodson's a Hall of Famer.
He had a 12-year career, and it was one of the best that we've seen a defensive back in Cowboy history.
And he won Super Bowls with those great Cowboys teams. He's got to be in.
Okay. Hold on. Let's take a quick break here. I've got some more Super Bowl questions, JJ. You cool to stick around for a minute here after we get back from the break?
Yeah, you bet.
All right, let's take another break. We'll come back. We'll dip in with our own Jeremiah Jensen, who's there in Santa Clara. It's a thrown together last-minute Super Bowl roundtable with a guy who played in the Super Bowl, a guy who's covering the Super Bowl, and a guy who eats a lot of food during the Super Bowl. So I think we got it all covered. All right,
easy on the wings there,
We'll take
Alex.
a quick break. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 The Kiss. Wait, before I get out, I got to tell you, I got to remind you, this portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. TrajanWealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Now we can get out. 97.5 The Kiss on Sports Zone.